That button was just pressed, y'all.
Yeah, it was. We are recording now.
We're doing it.
For poor decisions.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm Connor.
I'm Bryan. That's Connor.
I know you guys can see us.
Yeah.
Right? In your mind.
Yeah. Again, if you're looking at your device, I'm on the left, Connor's on the right, but you'll hear us in both your ears. We're in both your ear holes.
At the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, phrase it!
Starting off strong.
That would have been a better for a giggity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have giggity on here?
Oh, I'm sure I do. All right.
We'll get there.
Giggity, giggity, goo. I almost wanted to try and download the Damn Gina one for you.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. We don't have any beers yet, though. Should we probably get into?
How about a beer?
We should probably get into
Absolutely.
a beer.
Yeah.
I mean, not that, granted, you guys are going to be listening to this much later, but,
It's 2 p.m.,
Yeah,
the day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the day after the Super Bowl for us, but when you're listening to it, it
could be
whenever.
A few days after the Super Bowl, but
no, it'll be maybe the next Super Bowl because this won't come out until
it's going to be another year.
No, it just depends on when you listen to it.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Because people binge listen to.
Yeah, well, and I just go back and forth. Like I just choose random episodes.
Yeah,
unless there's like a story arc, but I don't listen to like story podcasts.
Yeah,
it's just, like
I listen to some,
stuff.
but not many. Like the main podcast I listen to, obviously I'll listen to Nigel's. I go through phases of listening to Nigel's, the Beers with Nigel. But I listen pretty frequently to Crime Junkie with Ashley Flowers and Britt.
I never got into the crime stuff. While we're riffing here, I'm going to open a beer.
Okay, riff a beer. So, I mean, the other ones I listen to is there's one called Swindled. The dude's a little monotone, which, I mean, we've talked about the monotone thing where I'm just, like, really not into the monotone.
That's blurted.
Hey-o.
Phrase it.
There you go. But, yeah, it's called Swindled, and he's kind of monotone, but at the same time, it's, like, very informative, and that's what I really like about it. And
so it's educational.
It is educational, but he tells it from a different kind of perspective. He tries to be almost like, well, I won't say unbiased, because some of his things are completely biased, but he talks about a lot of like corruption type things. And so that's kind of interesting to see and hear, some of the stuff that he does and talks about as far as corruption and,
right.
That's why it's called Swindled. I'm going to start getting back into another one called Nerd Poker, because they just started a new series, I guess. So they do stories, but they play D&D.
Oh, okay.
And it's Bryan Hussein.
Oh, yeah. I bet that's got to be good then. I love Bryan Hussein.
I mean, they've been doing it for years. And I've kind of gone in and out of it a couple times, but I'm just like, I just saw him post something, and I'm just like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get back into that. So I'm super excited. Like, they released the first episode, and I need to get back into it, because it's good to listen to different stuff, especially as you're trying to create a podcast.
Yeah.
To kind of see what different people do, and even trying to grow their podcast.
So I listen to a lot of like interview and comedy stuff, mostly like WTF with Mark Maron.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier Smartless, which is Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett, and they just like talk to celebrities and just
and Adam Carolla did one like that for a while.
And I like
the Ace podcast or something like that.
Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast, and he does like 3 episodes a week or some shit like that.
Well,
so
I used to listen to one. It was called Keith and the Girl, and they did one like every single day, and then they would record Friday night live. And so you could listen to them on the internet live, but then that episode would be put out like the next day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I probably listened to that podcast for pretty religiously for a couple of years. And again, they were putting out like 5 a week. And then like he was a comedian, or is a comedian, and on his birthday, and I think they're still doing the show, I just haven't listened to it in years. On his birthday, which was like April 15th or something, like he would always do a comedy special at a local club and invite a bunch of friends, and he would get a bunch of like, I guess more like C-list celebrities and comedians to come on and interview, and he made friends with a lot of them, so then like they were pretty reoccurring, and then like certain days they had certain guests on to kind of fill certain topics and stuff like that. So it was really cool. I mean, like, and I hope we can get to something like that as well.
Yeah, maybe let's get Carrot Top in here and interview him. He's C-list. Did you see how scary he looked yesterday?
I missed
at
him.
the Super Bowl.
I missed it.
He is scary looking.
Well, he's pretty jacked now.
He's
isn't he?
Fucking jacked. But
yeah,
like his skin, he looks just like a hot dog skin man. He just
hot dog skin man with a giant freaking with hair coming out the top.
Yeah, he's gross.
This smells. I've been kind of smelling this beer. It's kind of interesting.
So it's from Broadway Brewery out of Rocheport, Missouri.
Okay, yeah.
It's called Halftime. It's a tangerine sour. Session sour ale brewed with tangerine and black lava salt. Ooh,
it's very subtle.
Yeah, it's super sour on the nose.
Yeah, but it doesn't taste, and I think that's part of that session part. So, I mean, obviously the session is usually a lower ABV.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
But I think maybe because of the sessionability of it,
yeah,
that it's keeping that
it has
sourness.
No head retention though. It looks like a cider.
Yeah, it really kind of does.
It's still nice though. 4.9%.
I mean, these glasses, I feel like there's the clarity is a little off on it.
Yeah. It kind of looks like Weebit.
I mean, a little bit, and Weebit's our French saison at the brewery.
It's not as clear.
But I feel like there is, some, I guess, sediment, because these glasses are clean.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of the ways we can tell it's clean is that there's nothing sticking
no bubbles to the side.
Yeah, no bubbles sticking to the side.
I don't really know if I get a whole lot of tangerine out of this, but it's definitely a sour. And it's nice. I like it.
I feel like maybe if it didn't have the souring on it, maybe the tangerine would stand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can feel it a little bit, but sometimes I feel like that may just be like the souring part too.
Yeah, because I feel like that's all I get on the nose is the sour, not so much like any citrus character at all.
No, and I'm thinking, more on the tangerine. Sometimes when you eat like a tangerine or like an orange, you get a little bit of that pucker factor. It's not really a citrus.
Yeah.
So it's almost more like you're actually eating the tangerine versus drinking tangerine juice. Which then you'd get more citrus out of it.
Yeah. So as we mentioned earlier, it is the day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We're not going to harp on this too long because we're not those guys. But
I mean, I'm a big sports guy.
Me too.
But I'm more of a soccer guy.
This is not a sports podcast.
This is not. No, and I mean we'll talk about sports.
Yeah,
but
100%.
We're not going to focus solely on sports.
But before we started recording, we had both agreed that it's kind of a boring first half.
It was extremely boring.
But man, you can't deny like the second half and.
No, I mean there was definitely some questionable calls, but that goes
I thought,
both ways every time.
Yeah,
like excuse me.
Nice, good start.
So that was interesting because I'm out of breakfast stuff, so I had some pizza rolls for breakfast.
Oh, fuck yeah!
So I tasted a little bit of that on that too. So yeah, that was great. There was like that pass that they threw off to the side. That was like a backwards pass. And then he chucked it back across the field
over to McCaffrey. Yeah. That was a good call. Like that was a good play.
It was a good play, but like I guess it was kind of a questionable. And even like Tony Romo and Jim Nance said, that shouldn't have been allowed.
Forward pass.
Yeah, and then it was like a double forward pass.
Yeah. Because he was definitely not behind the line of scrimmage.
No.
But man, kudos to the Chiefs. It was a fun game to watch.
They pulled it out. I mean,
and
that's like I heard something earlier in the season when the Chiefs were struggling a little bit, but they were still winning their games. Where it's like commentators or I guess the talking heads or whatever.
Yeah,
you said like what, good teams find ways to win regardless.
Yeah,
and they pulled it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of hoping that it was like a lot of people were like, "Oh, watch, it's going to be Kelsey, and then it's going to be completely scripted, and he's going to be the reason why they win the Super Bowl." I was kind of hoping it was going to be McKinnon just because of last year's Super Bowl.
Yeah,
when he took that knee on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, man, that was a fucking heads up play. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was crazy smart about that. I mean, that's a team player there.
Yeah, 100%. He wasn't doing it for himself.
No, he was doing it to try to help make sure the team won.
Yeah.
And
I saw some. I saw some headline earlier this morning. Excuse me. apparently the 49ers didn't know about the new
I saw that too.
overtime rules for the playoffs.
Like, how do you not know? Like, I knew that.
Yeah, it's a new game. It is a new game.
Yeah.
Like, at you know, it was what they scored with 3 minutes left in overtime.
Yeah.
And I was just like, part of me was like, you guys need to hurry up and fucking call a timeout. Like, but like, oh wait, no, it is a new game. So if this quarter ends,
Yeah.
they're just going to go to the next quarter until
Yeah.
another touchdown is scored or if there's a turnover.
Yeah. But I mean, if it would have, so like, I was getting nervous there towards the end when the Chiefs were letting it just run down.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
if the clock hits 0 and they don't score, then the Niners win.
But it would have gone to a different quarter.
No, like, because the Niners had they were up 22 to the 19 because they had scored the field goal.
So weird.
It
It's
is
so
weird.
But, you know, kudos to the Bills for complaining about those overtime rules.
Yeah, and getting it changed.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things we talked about, not on the show, but it would have been funny, like when the Chiefs went to go play the Bills, is if it went into overtime.
Yeah. And they beat them with those rules that the Bills petitioned for.
At Buffalo Stadium.
Yeah.
Like, that's a kind of insult to injury right there.
Well, yeah, man, it's crazy. It's cool to live in a city that has like 3 Super Bowl wins, 2 back-to-back.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like,
and they've been to 4 now in the last 5 years. I mean, and I saw a thing before the playoffs started. It was Nick Wright, who is a local guy.
Oh yeah, I used to listen to him all the time before he went national.
Yeah.
What's right with Nick Wright?
Yeah, and I still enjoy seeing clips of him.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like, okay, I can't watch that type of stuff because there's a whole bunch of other stuff. The one thing I don't like about him is he's a huge LeBron fan.
Yeah.
But he was talking, he figured out that he was comparing the best 5 years of the Chiefs, which you know they just finished.
They have the best 5-year run in the history of the game.
But then they were comparing it to the best 5-year run of the Patriots when they had their whole dynasty thing.
Yeah.
And he said
the Chiefs are a better team.
Even if they made it to the Super Bowl, it was technically better than the best 5 years of the Patriots.
Yeah.
And if they won it, then it's without a doubt a question.
Yeah.
And I know that was a big thing where everybody was talking about, like, oh, you know, the Chiefs have never had to go on the road.
They did that this year. They proved everyone wrong.
You know, against, you know, the freaking
number 1 seed
Bills and Ravens.
Yeah, they beat 2 number 1 seeds,
and they were the underdog in all their games except for Miami. I think they had the advantage against Miami.
Yeah.
And then they came out and freaking hammered Miami.
Yeah, but that wasn't postseason. That was still.
No, that was that was wild card game.
Oh shit, you're right.
Because it's the first time the Chiefs have played the wild card too.
Shit, right? When it was like negative 30 degrees or some crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that everybody's like, "Oh, what are they going to try and say about Mahomes now?" Like, well, it's like, well, I bet he can't do it wearing Nike shoes because he's an Adidas guy.
Yeah, right. He's the baby goat. Just accept it.
Yeah.
Just accept it, guys.
And he's 28.
Yeah.
So
as a Bears fan, like if he were to have been drafted by Chicago, there's no way he would have had the same level of success.
No, I think he still would have been.
He doesn't have the coach. Like,
no, I think he still would have been successful because he is.
I don't know.
He's a good player, though.
He's a fantastic player, but this is
he wouldn't have had the same level.
Yeah, I mean, there are some talented players on the Bears, but they don't have the coaching that Kansas City does.
No,
they don't have the discipline. They don't have fucking Andy Reid. Like, yeah, put Andy Reid in Chicago.
It's a different
with Patrick Mahomes, then 100%. Like, yeah, the same. I feel like the same thing would have happened.
Yeah, maybe the Bears need to pick up Eric Bieniemy because the Commanders didn't keep him.
No, I don't. I like his play calling style. He's clearly he keeps his team accountable and disciplined. But I guess some people don't like it. They think he's too hard on the players.
You talking about Bieniemy?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember at the beginning of the season, like a lot of the Washington players were complaining that he was too hard on them.
Like, I'm sorry.
He's kind of proven himself.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you see where he just came from, right? He just won a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah. And you're going to complain that he's being too hard on you guys?
Yeah.
And people, like, they were posting that, and like some of the Chiefs players came to his defense and said, like, yeah, it's because he has expectations.
Yeah.
Of the players.
Yeah.
It's like, so he's going to keep you more accountable. He's going to be harder on you.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where Andy Reid is supposed to be the nice guy. He's good at play calling. Apparently he's better at time management than I was concerned about last night. Or towards the end of the Super Bowl.
Better than fucking Shanahan is, apparently.
Yeah. And so it's just like, I don't see why, pull Benamy in and just tell everybody, he's going to be hard on you, but
yeah,
that's because
he
knows what to do.
He has a proven track record of success.
Yeah. I mean, everybody talks always it's always the first half of the season. They always talk about Spagnuolo being he's not that good of a defensive coordinator.
I mean, he's won 4 championships.
His track record kind of shows otherwise.
Yeah. I saw another statistic about him. I think he's the only
with multiple franchises.
Yeah. He's won 4 championships.
Yeah.
As a coordinator, offensive or defensive.
He has the most on either side of the ball.
Yeah.
So, all right. Enough about that, though.
Yeah, I think we covered it.
Yeah, no, we've definitely covered.
One more thing about that game. It's kind of the first time I've truly watched Brock Purdy play, and he's a game manager.
He's not even really that, though.
He threw. I think his biggest pass was maybe for 20 something yards.
Yeah,
and that was it. He kept. Give it to McCaffrey on a sweep route or on a bubble screen, 5-yard throws.
Yeah, and when everybody was saying he's not even the best player on his team, he's was it? Somebody said he's the 10th best player on his team.
Yeah,
and then he threw a fit about it and said well, at least I'm in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but dude, you have an amazing defense, and then you have fucking George Kittle, you have Brandon Ayuk, you have
George Kittle
McCaffrey.
Didn't do shit.
No, he got the Chiefs' defense shut him out.
No, yeah, exactly.
But I'm just after watching that game, I don't think he's not that great. He really isn't. He's just okay. He can manage the game.
Yeah, he can manage it. But I saw a thing, Alex Smith, which is that prototypical game manager.
Yeah, and he said he's not in the club.
He's not in the club because he's I'm kind of the president of the club.
He's the unofficial president of the club.
And he's not in the club. I mean, and you can almost say that the way where he was, without having context of it, you could see him potentially trying to say he's more of a gamer than a game manager.
Yeah.
But I think he was literally being critical of Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Saying he's not a game manager.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback. Because when you think of game managers, I think of people Tom Brady had some good plays too, but he was a really good game manager. But then,
man, he could throw the fucking ball, man.
He could throw. And that's where he was more of a gamer than a game manager.
Yeah.
But then, when I think of game manager, I think of Alex Smith, Eli Manning. Eli Manning was not
he was not flashy.
He was not flashy.
No.
But he managed the game really well.
Yeah.
And most quarterbacks, they just are really good at managing the game.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get people Peyton Manning, he was a gamer. Tom Brady was, he could go either way. But Patrick Mahomes,
oh, the guy's just
he's a gamer. That final drive, he just kind of put the team on his back and made some great runs.
That was wild to watch.
I mean, he even freaking threw some hits.
Yeah.
Too. He's just whatever. You know what? We want to win this game, so I'm going to do whatever I have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that run by Kelsey, freaking, I think he broke the dude's collarbone.
Oh, dude, yeah. That guy's shoulder got fucked.
Yeah.
I
and he saw it coming. He's like, all right, man, let's go.
Yeah, you really want to do that? Okay.
He's done that a couple times this year.
Try to shoulder check fucking Travis Kelce.
Yeah, and Kelsey just all right. Because I think he's hurt a couple people this year trying to just shoulder him out.
I feel like maybe 5 years ago he could have completed that run and ended the game right there.
Oh yeah, just pushed him off and just kept going. Yeah, or what Kelsey does, used to do a lot. I haven't seen him do it much this year, where he would stall his run a little bit and let the dude try to hit him low, and then he tried to hurdle him. Yeah, because he did that, and I saw the Niners
do that stutter step or whatever.
Yeah, he did. The Niners did it at the beginning of the game. I'm like, oh look, they're trying to do what Kelsey does.
Yeah. That was a good game.
Yeah.
I was, I enjoyed it. It started slow, but man, I didn't think it would go into overtime.
Because it was 10-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was 3-0 for most of the first half.
Most of the first half. Yeah.
I'm like, they hit the over under, I think.
I was about to say, I don't even know what.
I think it was like 46
what was
and
the
a half.
spread?
Well, the Niners were.
They were 2.5 point favorites, right?
Well, I saw different conflicting things. Like I always usually use ESPN, and
Yeah.
like ESPN had them as 1.5 the entire
Yeah,
time.
because I know that line kept moving like
And-
all week long.
But I had a buddy that said that he got the Chiefs. He picked the Chiefs 2.5 plus.
Do we know what the over?
It was 46 and a half, I think, is what I
Okay.
saw on
Okay.
ESPN. So they ended up hitting it.
Wow.
Thank you, overtime.
No shit. Wow.
Otherwise,
Fucking
it would have
Vegas,
been
man.
under.
Fucking Vegas.
The halftime show was pretty good though. I didn't like the beginning of it. The audio on the beginning,
Yeah.
I thought was terrible.
I
And then I
also-
realized like his microphone was like an inch off to
yeah.
the side of his mouth.
But he was singing though. Like
He was singing.
He was performing, and
Yeah.
that was like, I don't know a whole lot of Usher. I don't know except for
I know quite a bit, but
except for the three that like everyone in the fucking world knows. But and when Alicia Keys first came on, I'm like, ooh, that first note she hit was
it was a little off.
That was rough. She really
That piano was cool.
that
as
was
shit,
really
though.
cool.
And people are like, "Oh, no, it's just a keyboard." I'm like, and then they end up you seeing a little bit
You
of
could-
the top down.
yeah, you could
and somebody's
see-
like, "Oh shit, it is a
It's a
piano."
piano,
Like,
100%.
that was a dope ass piano.
That shit probably costs like $30,000 or more, man.
I mean, I don't know much about pianos.
yeah, neither do I. I know it's expensive though.
Yeah, they're not cheap. That's for
No.
sure.
No, it was not the worst, not my favorite,
No,
but it was still entertaining.
it was better than the last two.
Oh, the one before last year's was Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Oh, okay. Sorry, not
Last year was
the
The
year
Weeknd,
before
right?
that. No, last year was Rihanna. And then 2 years ago was Dr. Dre.
I liked Rihanna because it was
And
like
then it was
she was in
the
that.
weekend must have was before Dr.
Yeah.
Dre and them.
Yeah.
So I forgot that the Dr. Dre one.
I
I thought
like-
I got them switched.
I liked the Rihanna one because it was just like it was bold.
Yeah.
Like her on those platforms,
I
like
didn't
pregnant
mind
as
it.
fuck.
I
Like
didn't
that's a
mind it.
bold move.
Yeah. I didn't mind it at all. Although I did see some funny memes come out of it where they were trying to do like the Mario Brothers, Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, I saw a good one where it was what's Ben Stiller's character in Dodgeball?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was Ludacris
Wait.
and him.
It's White. Goodman.
Did you see Ludacris's boots, man? They were
Oh yeah, they were freaking
obscene.
huge. And then he had the pads on too. Like my buddy's girlfriend was talking about, like, why is Ludacris up there?
Because it's fucking Luda.
Yeah, and they've done songs together.
Yeah.
I mean, he got on it. I thought Luda was great.
Yeah, me
I
too.
didn't realize. For some reason, I'm like I thought Jermaine Dupri was CeeLo because it
Me
looked
too.
like CeeLo.
Me
I'm like,
too.
is that CeeLo?
I thought it was like CeeLo on Ozempic or whatever that.
Yeah.
that
Well, then they
medication
freaking
is.
Will I Am came out. I'm like, that's got to be Will I Am.
Yeah.
But it's like Will double I Am
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he got big.
He put on some LBs.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm a small guy, but
Yeah, but I mean, still.
yeah, no, it's,
I mean, but hey, 50 Cent, man, he got chunky too. So.
yeah, they
Although
all have.
Didn't him no justice hanging him upside down.
No, not at all. We're just like gravity works, guys.
Yeah, we see that 50 or $1.50, whatever you want to be called now.
350,
Tree 50.
350. All right, we had another topic we were going to discuss though.
Yeah, we're
No,
going
it
to talk
was-
about cartoons.
Cartoon stuff.
Yeah. There's an age gap here, but we all
Yeah.
grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Because it's not quite 10 years. It's like
Yeah.
8.5, 9.
Yeah. But, Saturday morning cartoons, we're kind of living in the age now of like so many animated series
Yeah.
or sitcoms, whatever you want to call them, adult cartoons.
And a lot of people made a big deal about that with even like Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill. And there was a
Yeah.
bunch of other stuff. But like, I feel like it's just growing because they're playing to, excuse me,
That's good.
that generation. Yeah, that wasn't bad.
So I was
Or
trying
our
to,
generation.
I was trying to figure out, 3 categories of cartoons. And it's tough because there's like a Venn diagram of like adult animated shows, but also like animated shows for families.
Yeah.
I like Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
I'd put that in that Venn diagram of for adults, but also anyone can kind of watch
It's
it.
okay if your kids are around.
Yeah.
Like Simpsons, even though like my ex, like apparently like her mother wouldn't let her watch The Simpsons because.
See, but I don't really think kids kind of understand The Simpsons. I would put that in the like animated sitcom, adult animation category.
But again, like they usually keep it cleaner. Where like if kids are around, it's okay. Where unlike Family Guy,
like South Park or Family Guy.
Yeah, where like kids like
or Rick and Morty or
even though a lot of kids probably shouldn't be watching Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's almost more younger generational people watching Rick and Morty than like older generational people.
Yeah, like my dad is not going to be watching Rick and Morty.
Yeah. I mean, and it took me a while. Like, my oldest was watching Rick and Morty before I watched Rick and Morty.
So if you had to pick, let's start with Saturday morning cartoons. You want to do a top 3 or top 5?
And see, like, I was trying to remember a bunch of the stuff, and like I just remember certain ones, like X-Men, obviously.
Yeah.
Because like Batman was a daily one. Like, that was like a weekday.
The animated series.
Yeah.
See, I remembered. I love that. It's one of my favorite like all time animated series.
Batman.
But I wouldn't. For me, I wasn't watching that on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, but again, like that was common when the Batman was more of a afternoon.
Yeah.
One like weekday afternoon.
Yeah.
Like I remember running home and after from school and trying to watch it.
Yeah.
Like
or actually maybe no, because I was
like I think I was probably towards the end of I was probably in the middle or end of elementary school when it was on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was like 92.
Yeah, it was like 92, 93.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when I would have been in 3rd, 4th grade or something like that.
See, because I feel like I was watching reruns of that, but I remember when Batman Beyond first came on.
See, and that was like, early 2000s?
That was like 99, I think, 99, 2000.
Yeah, and see, like, that's when I was in high school, getting ready to finish high school.
Yeah.
And, like, I went into military training, so I didn't get to really see a lot of that.
Yeah. So, if you had to pick, let's go with 5. 5 Saturday morning cartoons.
I remember...
In no particular order. It doesn't have to be favorite.
I'm not good with top list because it's cyclical, right?
Yeah,
Anyway. Like, my thing is...
I didn't write any of this down, so...
Yeah, we're just winging it. And I didn't write any of it down either.
Yeah.
And this is where the riffing's going to be good, too. Obviously, X-Men was always up there for me. Yeah, it's such an iconic friggin' intro as well.
Yeah.
Even the animation for the intro was...
Oh, it's so good.
Has been iconic.
Yeah.
Right?
It still holds up, man. It is a great animated series.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed The Tick.
Yeah.
So that's where like a lot of the Tick stuff came in for me as well. And that's where the whole Spoon thing came from. Because the Spoon thing didn't come in from the comics. Because The Tick has been a comic for a while as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the Spoon thing came in from the animated series.
Yeah.
So like, anybody who's familiar with me knows my whole Spoon mantra thing.
And if you haven't watched The Tick, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere or renting on like Amazon.
Yeah.
But go watch it.
The animated one didn't hold up as well
as the live action.
And the new live action one's all right.
Yeah.
But the Patrick Warburton one
that's the one I remember the most.
Is the
man.
best.
Yeah.
Because Patrick Warburton was just such a great...
Oh, he's such a good cast for that role.
Yeah. I feel like that's just who he is.
Yeah.
And knowing who he is now and seeing him in a bunch of other stuff, he just kind of is always kind of that kind of goofy.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty large figure.
Yeah, for me, he's fucking Putty from Seinfeld, and
I never watched Seinfeld.
And he's Joe from Family Guy.
Yeah, and he's been voiced Joe, and then he was the narrator or Lemony on Lemony Snicket's.
I never saw it.
It was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Where Neil Patrick Harris was Count Olaf.
Yeah.
And this is like the series they did, and it was like 3 seasons, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But then he was also in like Roles of Engagement or something like that.
Okay.
Which was a short kind of rom-com series. And I think it had David Spade in it as well. He's done a lot of voice acting
Oh,
stuff
he's
too.
done so much.
So like
voice acting.
Chicken Little, like he
Yeah,
was one of the
yeah.
alien cops, and then he was the big bad wolf in Hoodwinked, and I mean that was a great character as
I
well.
don't know if I saw that either.
Oh, Hoodwinked's incredible because
Shocker, something I didn't see.
yeah, well they ended up doing 2 of them too.
Okay.
So like that one's a great one because he plays the role like they're trying to do Little Red Riding Hood, but it's told from a different perspective, and he's actually a reporter. And so they keep thinking like he's trying to get the scoop because he thinks Little Red, Red is up to no good. And what is she like smuggling because she's taking Granny's cookies or whatever? And come to find out, Granny's like this extreme sports person and just always missing. And so he tries to dress up as the Granny, and it's just this whole ridiculous thing. And he voices the big bad wolf. Then.
So you got X-Men, you've got the Tick.
Yep. God, what am I trying to else remember? Here, like we were at a computer, so I'll start looking up, stuff to kind of jog my memory. What is something else that you have then?
For me?
Yeah.
Or, like my favorites? Or so like I said, we grew up in a little different time for cartoons, but Animaniacs.
And I just looked at, and I was going to say, oh yeah, Animaniacs was, and that was an afternoon one though too.
Yeah, that was a Saturday morning on Kids WB. I think it was channel 62 or channel 34. I can't remember.
I think 62 was like KCMO or something like that. And I feel like that was always an afternoon one for me too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't necessarily a Saturday morning one, but it was.
So it was for that. It was. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I loved Recess.
That Recess was after I had kind of,
I
guess, moved away from some of that stuff.
Pokemon was a huge one,
and that was after me, like I had kind of grown, like because I wasn't into Pokemon because I got into Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
As far as cards.
Fuck.
And so like I pulled up a little bit, and so like I mean I see. And maybe they were Saturday morning shows, or I just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
To me, it was always more of like a weekday show.
Yeah.
Because I did a lot of soccer when I was younger too.
Yeah.
Up until middle school. Like so, my Saturdays were usually filled with either soccer or scouts or some sort of activity.
Yeah.
So I think when I was younger, I got to watch some Saturday morning cartoons, but I can't remember. Anything what it was. But then so like we said, Batman. Animaniacs, obviously.
Yeah. Dude, I learned so much from the Animaniacs. Like I had.
Oh yeah.
My dad had 2 cassettes that were like educational songs from the Animaniacs. It's how I learned about like all the states and their capitals.
Yeah.
There's the iconic all the countries of the world. Which has now been revised probably
they
a
got Tick as number
multitude of
10 on
times.
this list.
Oh wow!
And before X-Men is 11.
Yep.
So like they had Batman, X-Men,
yeah.
the Tick. So there's 3 for me. Gargoyles was a good one. Animaniacs was a good one. I always forgot about Reboot.
I don't know if that looks like it was made in like 2001.
Oh no, it was 90s.
That's some dingy ass 3D animation.
That was like
right there.
I guess kind of more my introduction to what I thought anime was.
Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain
yeah.
wasn't its own show until later. Oh, I forgot about the Mighty Ducks. That didn't last very
Mighty
long.
Ducks was good.
Beast Wars, that was all right.
Yeah, that was okay.
And there's your Pokemon, Digimon, which I didn't watch.
Digimon before Pokemon?
Oh, the Turtles.
What? Yeah, TMNT.
I forgot about the Turtles,
Yeah.
so that's why I had to kind of. Oh yeah, I remember.
The mini TMNT knockoffs. That's a fucking cop out.
That is.
This
I'm sorry,
list sucks.
Biker Mice from Mars
This list sucks.
is a great show as well.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And
What about Battletoads?
see, I never watched Battletoads. I played the game.
Yeah, I remember
a
the
little
game.
bit.
Yeah,
I never watched it, but I know they had a series.
So
And
I guess
there was
okay.
another one. It was almost anime-like as well, but a little bit more cartoonish. And it was this dude was like this inventor.
What just happened?
I think we stopped recording.
Oh shit!
Shouldn't have.
No, we're still going.
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
That was an alarming thing to see.
That was.
I mean, the red button's still on. So
Yeah. Let's see. won't let me do that. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
So I can clear some stuff.
And
All
we're back.
And we're back. Sorry about that. That was a weird.
Just had to clear some space.
Clear some space on the thing because it was acting up. And I guess we'll see if anything got cut out. And I'll have to make a little.
The red button was still on.
It was still on, but it was weird where it said that, like, hey, you've reached.
Yeah, you
your
reached.
max space.
Yeah. Sorry about you.
Yeah. So
In
I
the
guess
meantime.
we'll figure that
How
out.
about a beer?
Yeah. I mean, I should finish the one.
You know.
That was stressful. I need another beer.
Yeah. Whew.
Oh, man. All right.
I just want to finish up my other two.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I had, what did I say? Recess, Pokemon, Animaniacs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the Batman animated series, and another Freakazoid, fucking Freakazoid.
Oh, I remember.
Oh
See,
my
I
god,
never watched
was
it,
so
but yeah.
good. There was only like 2 seasons, but it was an amazing show. It was like very like Animaniacs, like just like for adults, because there was like so many pop culture references, but enough like fart jokes to make kids entertained.
Yeah.
Fucking great show. Freakazoid. Yeah, those are my top 5.
And I was trying to remember the one I was talking about. This one, it was. I've seen it posted a couple times. I can never, remember the freaking name of it. But this dude was like an inventor who kind of got
a new glass real quick for this one.
Oh, here. I got.
Oh yeah,
You can use
there
this
we
one
go.
too. There you go. So like I had some extra glasses over here. I can never remember the damn name of it, but he was like an inventor that like had somehow gotten outcast from his like parents' company because his parents were like outcast as well, and he lived in this underground like fortress type of thing, and he invented like robots that would help him do stuff too. That almost looks like 2 different beers.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe that's just the lighting.
No, they look good. It looks the same.
Now it does. At first it didn't. So, but
Yeah, we're
I
good.
can never remember the name of it, but it was a really cool series. It actually got me into like for a while, like when I was still doing a lot of art stuff, like trying to design my own like little robot idea type things.
Yeah.
Because like they would transform into like vehicles and stuff too. But it wasn't
I
Transformers.
was about to say, was it a show called Transformers?
No, it wasn't.
But they transformed.
But exactly, I know it's weird. Where I feel like there was a lot of copying, but I feel like they executed that show very well. It just didn't last very long. So I'll have to try and figure it out though. So
Well, our new beer,
yeah,
latest beer, is from Main and Mill Brewing Company. It's a red ale, red rye. Let's see here.
where's that from?
Main Mill.
Yeah, where's that located?
Don't know.
I don't know.
Somewhere out in Missouri. See, I want to read this. It says the address on the can as 10 East Main Street in Festus, Missouri, and I want to call it Festivus.
Festivus
Missouri.
for the rest of us.
Shout out Jeremy Clarkson, Festivus.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the best reason why
So,
I
yeah,
know
it's,
what that even is.
Out of Festus, Missouri, wherever the fuck that is.
Yeah, like I can't even like search. Like I know I've saved an image of it before, and I just can't come up with the name of that show.
The name of that show.
Yeah. I'm like, God dang it.
Yeah, you would enjoy Freakazoid. If you can find it, watch it.
If only there was a way to look this type of stuff up.
Yeah, if only you had a computer right in front of you.
Yeah,
that you're
no.
currently on.
Freakazoid. Oh yeah, I remember. Like, and I knew exactly what you were talking about. Like, it was Paul Rudd
Yeah,
or Paul Rugg, not Rudd.
such a good show.
Ed Asner's on it.
Yeah, he's the main officer in the show.
Craig Ferguson's on it.
Yeah,
Nice.
dude, it's a great show.
Yeah.
One of those that could be made now, and it still holds up very well.
Yeah, and there's some great modern day animated things.
Yeah.
And just a lot of them are obviously I'm not watching kid ones anymore because I don't have young kids.
So it would, still talking about cartoons. Do you have like a favorite, like modern cartoon, or maybe not a favorite? I feel like that's a loaded question. I hate that question. What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that?
I mean, I will say like I've really enjoyed, and it's bad to really even watch, but it's Big Mouth.
I never watched it. I know I need to because I love Nick Kroll.
Talks about it's Nick Kroll and there's a bunch of other voice actors that are popular on it. John Mulaney is one of them.
Yeah.
And it basically goes over. It's about these middle schoolers going through puberty and being in school and like just the awkwardness of puberty.
Well, if there's someone to do that, it's Nick Kroll.
Yes, but like they basically joke about how they are making inappropriate stuff.
Yeah.
Like they break the fourth wall talking about how they're making inappropriate stuff, but yet here they are.
Yeah.
And they've done like 5 series.
It's been on for a while now.
Yeah. And so it always makes me laugh too. Paradise PD, which is just like this ridiculous kind of notion too, and the antics that does it. What else have I watched that, again, like now I'm just like blanking on stuff, but because like I mean I've enjoyed some Family Guy stuff and South Park, but like I haven't.
5 seasons of Family Guy are kind of all you need to watch.
But like I've never like religiously watched that stuff.
Oh, so, dude, I grew up on.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens. He just spilled a beer on his keyboard.
It's fine. I'll just shut it off and it'll be fine.
It's gonna be a little sticky.
Yeah.
Hey, phrase it.
It's like that meme I posted yesterday of the when I get done eating wings and the waitress forgot to give me extra napkins. I'm sticky over here.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I know. It's all right. It's fine.
It's fine.
That keyboard's, it'll be fine.
It's fine.
Yep. So now I'm going to try and see if I can find one of the other series that I've watched. Oh, wrong button.
Yeah, so I grew up watching South Park.
Yeah.
I was obnoxiously young. It came out in 97. I was 7 years old. I remember watching the first season in elementary school.
Yeah.
And my mom just being like, I'm such a bad parent. I can't believe I'm letting you and your brother watch this. We're just like, all the other kids are watching it. Like, it's fine. We can't not watch it. Otherwise, we'll...
Yeah, because all the other kids are literally watching it.
Yeah, every new episodes every Wednesday, and every Thursday you go in and you talk about the episode. Like, and if you were not a part of that conversation, then you were not a cool kid to talk to.
Yeah, and I mean that was basically, looking back at it now, like that was the introduction to being in a workplace.
Yeah,
because you know what, one of the things I learned. You
got to be up on your P's and Q's, man.
Well, one of the things I learned working in a lot of corporate jobs for a long time is it's still pretty much high school.
Oh yeah,
it's
clicky. It's If you didn't catch the latest thing, then what are you doing?
Exactly. So and just like I wasn't big into it when I was in high school.
Yeah.
The whole clicky thing.
Yeah.
And I was friends with a lot of different groups, but not any like specific.
Yeah.
So it was and I was pulling up and trying to vamp. I know one of the big ones has been the Harley Quinn series. I haven't watched any of that.
See, I think I started watching it because that's on HBO, right?
Yeah.
Or Max, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoy most of anything from the DC animated universe. Because I liked Teen Titans.
I watched some of the Teen Titans Go with my kids.
Yeah, that shit's
and that was funny.
As hell,
that
man.
was funny.
That's
made me laugh.
Great show.
I haven't watched the movie though.
Neither have I.
Yeah,
but
I always enjoyed it.
I've seen enough of that. That's been on my radar, but it's another one of those things that we had this conversation at the brewery the other day where, price increases, and I'm just like, I'm tired of paying money for a streaming service that I don't watch anything on anymore.
Yeah.
Like in my free time, I'm not watching shows. Like I'm trying to, I don't know, like play guitar, read a book, be productive, play video games, you know?
Yeah.
There's shit around the house I need to do.
And it's, priority type stuff.
Yeah. Like
So,
I would love to just sit down, like, and watch shit for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But then I feel terrible.
And I do.
Yeah,
Because I do.
When I do, I feel that way, so I don't like feeling that way.
Yeah. And I need to get better about that. But, like, I'll sit down and binge watch some stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the other modern ones I've watched that I've really enjoyed is F is for Family. That one's Bill Burr.
Fuck yeah, it's so good.
That is a good one.
It's so good. It's
based
so
on, like,
Bill
the
Burr.
70s.
Yeah.
And it's, even when they brought it, like, in his dad, like, that was always good, too. What was that?
It was a muffled.
Ribbit. Archer. We always talk about Archer.
Oh, yeah.
The phrasing and hey
Yeah.
phrasing and stuff like that. I haven't finished it. Like, after, the lady who voiced the mom passed away, like, they,
Jessica Walter.
they, wrote her off.
Yeah.
Very nicely.
Yeah. It's
But
not
then
the
I'm
same,
just
man.
like it's just like, like now it's getting forced on a lot of stuff.
I think I stopped watching it after they did, was it like Archer Vice or?
Oh, when he was in the coma. He was in a coma for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And like there was good parts to it, but again,
And then they did like the noir, like
that was part of
50s.
him.
Yeah.
In a coma. Like there was the space one, there was the jungle one, and then there was the
Miami one, right?
Well, no, the noir one.
Yeah, okay.
The Miami one is after he got out of a coma,
Yeah.
and they were trying to move locations.
Yeah, I just like it's one of those shows that, I feel like give it 5 seasons and that's
Yeah.
it.
And this is where we've talked about, like, where sometimes like the British shows, like they do less episodes, which
less
and
is
I
more,
do,
man. Less is more.
I will say, like, some of the American stuff is getting better about it, like, especially like the streaming stuff, like they'll do like 10 episodes, maybe 13.
Yeah.
But like some of the British stuff, like they'll do like 6 episodes,
Yeah.
maybe 10.
Yeah.
But then, like, a lot of times they'll only do like 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 series.
Yeah.
Because they don't do seasons, they call them series.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, yeah, no, we're done. We're gonna move on to something else. I forgot about
because then
Ren
you
and Stimpy when I was younger.
Oh yeah, Ren and Stimpy.
But one of the newer ones that I've enjoyed watching too, and I think they're probably done with it now, is Disenchanted, which is from the same person.
From Matt Groening.
Yeah, which then obviously brings back Futurama as well.
Yeah.
Which the new season, I think we've talked about. It's just they forced it.
Let a sleeping dog lie.
Yeah. And so that was.
See, I mean, we could cover cartoons and different subgenres.
Well, I don't want to say ad nauseum, but
yeah, but for a while, I've watched a lot. You've watched a lot.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people will always talk about the animated Cowboy Bebop. I've never watched.
You never watched the animated one?
No.
Oh man, see, that was one thing when I was originally texted you about, like, should we throw anime into this? I don't really know a whole lot of anime.
Yeah, and that's kind of in there what is considered anime, and to me, like, people will get into huge arguments about what is anime, what is the best animated stuff, and like it almost like anime has to be like Japanese or Asian driven.
I think it has to be. I think so.
But then, like, I've watched, I couldn't name anything off the top of my head, but like what is considered American anime, because they're trying to stylistically match that same. Which
I think I'm pretty. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Avatar: The Last Airbender was an American show that was based on that style.
Yeah, but seeing again, that to me, that's just animated. That was to me that I never considered that anime.
But so I remember, like, back in the day of when Adult Swim like first came onto the scene.
Aqua Teen.
No. So it was Saturday nights after a certain time. It was Toonami. So it was all anime. It was all Japanese anime.
Yeah.
So that's where I got introduced into Cowboy Bebop. They played like the original Dragon Ball. It wasn't Dragon Ball ZX or whatever.
And I had watched some Dragon Ball Z.
So there's I don't know a whole lot of anime, but what I've seen, like Attack on Titan is a modern like anime show. It's fucking dope as hell.
People love Attack on Titan.
Oh, dude, it's
I have
such
not
a good
watched
show.
any of it, but
it is wild. The animation is insane. But I don't know enough. I haven't watched enough to really like formulate an opinion on anime because like I was talking to Gina, and I was like, should I mention Avatar as an anime? She's like, don't. That is not. So many people don't consider that an anime.
Yeah.
And
I feel like more people, and that's kind of one of those ones that's probably depends on who you talk to. Like if you're hardcore anime, it's not. If you're like,
no, it's not.
Then it will be.
It is to me because I'm in that camp.
Yeah.
What do you think of this beer?
I was gonna say it is. I get a lot of kind of caramel and
super molassy.
I mean, it's not so much molasses to me, but I'm getting like smokiness on it.
Yeah, it's definitely caramely.
Yeah.
I said before this is a red rye, so it's a red ale with rye.
So
you definitely get the rye.
That malt.
Yeah,
malt and rye, and so yeah. I mean I don't feel like I get too much of that dog food, that wet dog food kind of taste, but yeah. But it's
a little on the nose.
Yeah, a little on the nose, but
I smell it. It reminds me of my dog Daisy.
Mm-hmm. Derby ear Daisy.
Yeah, she doesn't smell like beer, but this smells like her. All right, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, your dog smells like rye. Got it. Not sure how that happened, but there we go.
Not my favorite beer.
It's not, but it does have some better head retention on it, and a little bit of legs. Although it does, the legs go down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Ayo.
Phrasing.
There you go. So, I mean, with that being said, though, I mean, do we have anything else we want to discuss, or we want to try and wrap this episode and see how messed up I've made it?
I mean, yeah, we've talked about the Super Bowl. We've talked about cartoons.
I've spilled a beer on my keyboard.
Bryan spilled a beer.
We had to take a break in the middle of it, so this is going to be 2 recordings, so it might seem a little awkward to you, but I'll try to make it.
You'll make it work.
I'll try to make it.
We'll fix it.
I'll try to make it smooth out,
as I like to say, as everyone. I made that phrase.
Fix it in post.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine.
Definitely me.
Fortunately, I haven't had to do too much editing on stuff. Like I had to go and make some modifications, like I'll pull it into Audacity and then make some adjustments. That way, whenever I upload it, it sounds better.
Yeah.
But this one I'm going to have to do a little bit more work to.
That's fine. We did 30 minutes or so, and now we're another 20.
Yeah, and that's if I recorded it completely the first time.
Yeah.
Guess we'll find out.
Well, should we do it until next time?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys sitting here listening to this episode, even if it was, 5 to 10 minutes of it were cut out. But
But we appreciate the listen. Be sure to follow us, subscribe, and
we are. I mean, I still have till March where I can change the name on Facebook, so it's
on Facebook. What is it still on Facebook?
Miscellaneous Debris, but by the time you're listening to this, hopefully I have it back to
Poor Decisions.
Not back to, but changed to Poor Decisions. That's DESHISHUNS. And we are on Facebook, or not Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
We do have an Instagram.
Yep.
Posted as well. You can find us on all podcasting things. So if you know somebody, if you're listening to it on Spotify, but you know somebody else listening to it on Apple, then say, hey, go tell your friends to listen to it on somewhere else.
I see you a burp and I raise you a burp.
Yeah, well, you're better at it than I am. I'm not good at belching. So we've talked about that.
We'll probably talk about it again.
Yep.
Sometime.
Everything's cyclical.
Yep.
All right.
It all is. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you listening.
Later, guys.
Which button?
The big red one.
This one?
As always, yeah.
Okay.